qui tombe sans bruit. Je cours, je cherche, je fuis les ombres longues de ma nuit. Un souffle court, un cœur qui crie. Cœur en fuite, sans abri. Cœur qui danse malgré l'oubli. Je m'accroche, je défie. Cœur enfui, c'est ma vie. Des murs peints de souvenirs flous. Des mots brisés, des rêves dissous. Le vent murmure, il est jaloux. Mais moi, je vole, je vais partout. Loin des chaînes, loin des lois. Je suis l'écho.
¿Ves este clavo? ¿Puedes imaginar el hecho de
Good morning, and welcome, guys, again for another Digital Capital Market Review. I have taken a couple days off away from the market. As I explained on some past videos, I was expecting some choppy price action for a little while, and that is exactly what has played so far. So, really nice to see our analysis play out. And of course, in those periods of time where you're expecting the market to be absolutely choppy, in a lot of cases, it is just better to take some time off and wait until you actually get proper confirmations to take any trades, right? So really nice to see that our expectations of choppy price on the market had played out really well. And now we're seeing some interesting developments that can lead to some really nice trading opportunities in the near future. And something that I always tell myself and I like to remind myself, it's whenever you have periods of time where you have proper confirmations where you can trade the markets, those are the times where you want to maximize your trading performance. And of course, during those times, you're going to have more screen time where you spend more time trading, looking at setups, managing your setups, and actually performing the best possible, right? And then you're going to have periods of time where the market's not ideal to trade. And those are periods of time where you can do different things. You can learn new skills, work on new projects. And something that we have been doing here at Digital Capital, we're always looking at new tools that can help us improve our trading performance. And we're proud to announce that we have actually partnered with Wyckoff Labs to test their new system, TradeOS, which is going to be a state-of-the-art journaling system that we're going to be using to journal our trades. And it also has integration with a Kelly calculator, which is a position size calculator for Polymarket. And I'm going to be showing you how that works before we do our market update today. So this is your website. They actually have a wait list. It's going live soon. It is actually in beta testing right now, but you can actually sign up for free and test it already. If you guys want to check out the features, they have a site here. You guys have some ideas. You guys can check out the features, the different plans they have. Of course, they do have a free plan you guys can jump into to check it out. Then they have a more advanced plan and one elite plan that has all the features in there. They also have a couple other things coming out soon in the near future, so they're working on that as well. And they also offer some really interesting trading view indicators that I actually use one of them. I actually like this one that is called Sessions by Wyckoff Labs, and I'm going to show you why I like it and I've been using it. If you guys want to look at it, you can go here to their site. It's completely free, wyckofflabs.com/indicators. And if you want to check it out, you can click here, add to trading view, and that's going to open this window where you can actually add it to your trading view if you want to do that. So super cool indicator for them. Wishing the best luck with their new project. Now I'm gonna be registering and doing the whole process so you guys can see how everything works. So you guys can go here to start. Of course, if you have a Mac system, you actually have this option to save a quick access to your desktop. If you want to do that, that's completely optional. And they actually have done something really smart where you can actually sign in with Google or Telegram. And by doing it this way, of course, you are not creating any passwords with them. So your data is completely safe. When I talked to the team, they actually explained me that they actually host all their data through Amazon Web Services, which is pretty good for the safety part. And they also use really good encryption as well. However, yourself as a user, if you want to have a higher step of safety, right, you can always sign in through Google and Telegram. And that way, you are not creating any passwords through them. Everything is just going to be going from Google, your username, your password, everything comes from Google. You don't create anything through them. So for these purposes, let's go ahead and I'm gonna log in with Telegram. So I'm gonna click in here. And I'm actually gonna open this in a different screen so you guys don't see my phone number. But it's pretty smooth. I was checking this out the other day and it's pretty smooth the way it works. Give me 1 second here to set this up. And of course, if you guys happen to have any questions on how any of these works, I'll be more than happy to help you guys out with any questions related to this journal service, which again, I think is fantastic. I've been testing it out myself, and I think they're gonna have a lot of success doing this. Also, guys, regarding the music, in case somebody is wondering why we're having different music now, YouTube was giving me a hard time with copyrights, so we're gonna be using some AI-made music for now. Perfect. So I get this confirmation in my Telegram, which is super cool. I'm able to log in, logs me in through Telegram, so I don't have to create any passwords or anything like that. And then once you actually log in, it's gonna give you these options here, right? So it's gonna say, "Welcome, DGEM." That is my name in Telegram. Let's set up your trading journals in under 2 minutes. So I'm gonna click here and get started. I'm gonna put my display name. I can actually add my picture from Telegram directly, so you can already see my picture from Telegram, which is super cool. And then it's gonna ask you a couple questions like, what is your trading experience? And I'm gonna be myself like intermediate. So let me click here, intermediate. It's gonna ask me, what do you trade? For the most part, I trade crypto. And then for these demonstration purposes, I do understand their free journal only offers 2 different journals you can add. If you have the premium package, you can get all of them. So let me select also polymarket so I can show you guys a polymarket calculator. Continue. And then it's gonna ask you your trading style. This one here, it's their signature trading journal, is the Wyckoff. So let me click on Wyckoff so you guys can see everything based on Wyckoff. And then on Polymarket, you don't really have any trading styles, right? There's no options for that. So you click on continue. It's gonna ask you your currency so you can display your results, your money, your currency. I'm in US dollars, so let me click in there. And then just for this example, let me say on my crypto portfolio, let's say that I have $10,000. And let's say on my Polymarket journal, we have $650. USD, continue. It's going to ask you for the theme. I like darks because I don't like to burn my eyes, but if you want to do white or system for your system, you can do that too. That's going to be my default journals whenever I log in. That's going to be the default one. And then they also have some options like a meditation timer if you're into meditations, and you can also do quotes on your dashboards. You can see quotes. Let me turn the quotes off. Actually, I'm going to leave it on. And let me also turn the timer on so you guys can see that too. Continue is going to ask you what days you usually trade. Let's say that we trade Monday through Friday, like most traders. Continue. And it's going to ask you if you want to keep a master plan, if you want to make a plan to keep yourself accountable through your journey. And this is something that I really like. This is one of the reasons why I personally like this journey a lot. When I was setting this up, I started doing this. And I think it's super cool because most people that fail in trading, they actually end up failing, not because lack of skills. They end up failing usually because they don't really understand what they're doing well and what are their mistakes. And the most successful people in trading, and this also happens in many industries, some of the most successful people in history, they get there because of journaling. And if you're hearing this concept for the first time, it might sound weird, but you as a human, if you have the ability to write down your thoughts, to create plans, to follow up with your plans, if you can set goals, you can follow up with them, and you can learn from your mistakes, what you're doing wrong, and you can also write down what you're doing well, you actually become a very powerful entity. And over time, you're going to get very wise and get a lot of experience. And that applies not only in trading, but also in life, in business, in a lot of different aspects. And some of the best traders out there, at some point in time, they struggle with their trading, and a lot of them fix their mistakes only by doing proper journaling. So finding a journal that can help you set up these kind of goals is going to help you reshape your mind and perform in a different way. So one of the first steps in trading to become is to become accountable, and that's going to help you get to the next level. And that is the reason why I like this journal. So just for this example, we're gonna take these 5 seconds to do this. We're gonna create a journals and master plan. I'm gonna click in here, and that's gonna take us to their master plan section. So we have created our journals. Now we're gonna go to our master plan. We're gonna click in here. It's going to ask you, okay, so what is your monthly income target? So let's say that we want to make $20,000 a month, and we want to grow our account 20%. We're going to do this by doing a funded account. So we're gonna hit next. Let's see, our starting capital is $15,000. We're gonna be taking trades of 1% risk. We don't really care about a max daily loss. This usually matters for people that are more in a prop firm account already. Much drawdown, that's usually for people that have a prop firm account already. We don't have one yet. So let's click on next. What's our trading style? This doesn't really matter, but just for for your purposes. In my case, for example, I'm more like a day trader to a swing trader. And then I usually trade in Asia, New York. During these times I'm asleep, and also this overlap time is the best one. And usually trade these days, sometimes on weekends too. I don't really have a max trades per day. So let's see, what is your edge? Let's say patience, just to write something down. Criteria to take a trade, let's put confirmation, just something basic, just to put something. Exit criteria, take profit or stop loss. Require confirmations, I don't know, high probability to trade. Next, 30-day goal, what do you want to achieve in your first month? Let's say make 20K. 60-day goal, make 60K. 90-day goal, let's say make 100K. There's something to type something in there. Next, there's going to ask you a couple of questions to stay consistent. So let's do a daily review, weekly review, monthly review, complete our plan, and boom, now we have our journal. And this is the way it looks. So we are on the free plan. So it's going to show you we have 2 journals, 25 trades this month. That's what we have access to. Since we already have our 2 journals, it's already full. If you want to upgrade, you can click on here. If you want to have multiple journals for Forex, equities, different things. Now we have our poly market journal, and this is the first thing that I want to show you. So if you click in here, that's going to open the section where you can log data for your poly market journal. It's going to ask you what is the question that you're trading, your prediction, right? The category is sports, crypto, politics, whatever. So for example, let's say it's a Arsenal win. Category sports. Position, yes, we took a position, let's say. And yes, let's say the dates this. Let's say it's we entered at 3 p.m. Perfect. You see our buy price is 0.54. You see that we're getting 100 shares. And our probability, let's say that we think it's 50%. So this were to happen, we have a negative edge. But this is the part that I like. If you click on this calculator here, it's going to give you this position size calculator. So it's going to ask you a couple of questions, right? So what is our bankroll? You can say it's 650, which if you think about it, this is the pre-filled balance from what we wrote at the beginning, which is pretty cool. So when we set up the journal, we said we had $650. That is the same number in here. Then it's going to ask you position size in cents, market price per share. So we're saying that in this example, the market price that we see on poly market is 60 cents. Then you have your win probability. And this is something that over time, you're going to be able to get through journaling, right? How you get your win probability is over time, you see your trades you take. And for example, let's say you take 10 predictions, and out of those 10, you win 7. So your edge is 70%, right? That's your win probability. Then you have your Kelly fraction, and it says a quarter Kelly fraction is recommended for prediction markets to manage variance. So it shows you this. So based on these stats, based on our bankroll, based on the position size, based on the win probability, this is the position size we should take. So we should be risking $40 out of the $650 balance that we have to be able to successfully manage our bankroll over time. So our expected share value is going to be plus 10 cents per share. That's our edge. Net odds, exposure. And we can click, if you want to export this data to your journal to take it based on this way, you can click on using trade. and that's going to show up over here. So that's one of the calculators they have is for position sizing. And then they also offer this Monte Carlo simulation where you can actually see over time, if you were to stick to the system and consistently do the same things over and over, what is the potential amount of money you could make? So for example, let's put here a bankroll again is 650. Our position price is 60 cents as we discussed before. Your win probability is 70%. We use the Kelly fraction here and let's simulate, let's say 500 trades. So if we take 500 trades, stick into these values, stick into the system, and click on run simulation, it's going to show you the super cool graph of what your potential results can be. So using these, our pessimistic results could be that we're at $16,000. Our median will be at $64,000. And the optimistic results will be around $228,000. So it's going to calculate the compounding effect of your trades over time. So you can see at the beginning, nothing really changes as much. When you are 65 trades in, you're still in those same ranges where you're between $600 and $1,800, depending on how everything goes. But you can see that after 200 trades, that compounding effect starts to take effect and this starts to take off. But the only way that this works over time, guys, it doesn't matter if you're trading crypto, stocks, Forex, you're doing predictions on polymarket. The reason why this is important is because by following a system where your win probability is 0%, you're never going to blow up your account. And if you consistently follow your process, yes, you're going to lose some trades. However, you're going to win more than what you lose. And you're going to start compounding those profits. So you're going to go from having $650 and then you have 680 and then you go down to 670 and then you go to 700, 750, 730, 800, 780, 900, 850. So you go up and down, but your trend is going to continue. It's going to remain going up over time. And of course, every time that you have more money in your account and you take a new trade, now you're going to take a bigger trade size because your account is now bigger and you're going to compound those profits over time. So using this simulation is going to give you a really good idea of how your compounding effect can work over time, which is absolutely fantastic to see the way this looks. So this is the reason why I like this journal is because it shows you guys these things. If you follow the system, if you follow the plan, if you stick to the rules, this is going to work out for you over time. So super cool journal the way they have built this. And a couple of things, you have this home screen where you can go here and you can see your different trades, the P&L, the win ratio, profit factor, the strike round, if you're winning, losing, how many trades today. It shows you if you are into actually trading, if you trade different sessions, what session is open. You can see different news in here. Then you have your journals for crypto as well. You can go here, click here, and here you can actually go ahead and actually journal your trades. You can upload screenshots. You can do all that kind of stuff in there. Something also that is super cool, they also have a Telegram bot that you can set up. On this one, you actually have to upgrade to be able to use this. So that's not available. You also have a daily briefing that they can like send you emails and messages with your results, email notifications. So you have all sorts of information, all sorts of ways to manage your information, which is absolutely fantastic. Then you have your portfolio page in here where you can actually see how your balances are divided. What is your profit? What is your loss? What is your money? So we have in this journal, for example, for Polymarket, $650. We have the crypto trading journal that we put, we had $10,000. You can see them here. You can see them here. So you can see all sorts of information. So super cool information these guys provide. If you guys want to check it out, it's whitecoffeelabs.com. Really nice. Happy to partner with them. They also have a community section in here where you can join and you can compete with other traders. They also have a leaderboard as well. So all sorts of super cool concepts they have done in here. If you guys want to check anything out, whitecoffeelabs.com, you guys are able to see everything in there. So I have said that, let's actually move into something that I wanted to show you guys as well. And something that I like about these guys is they also have provided this section where you can actually follow a trading plan. A lot of people do this. So this is kind of similar to how I do my trading. So you have BTC, USDT, and you can move to high volume pairs, which is super cool to see that. So we're gonna go to our TA now, and let's begin. I had this set up here for you guys. So these triple screens here is going to show you USDT is inverted, so it's upside down. This is not the regular chart, it's upside down. And I'm gonna explain why I did that. Then you have Bitcoin, and then you have total market cap. If you invert them, you can actually see that all of them are actually pretty much lining up. So very likely USDT is going to go higher. Right now it's at 8.14. Very high chance is going to go to take this high here that we set at the beginning of the month at 9%, which actually lines up perfect with Bitcoin low and the total market cap low. So my expectation before we can actually get a little more bullish is to take out these points on the ranges. And once we get here, this is going to allow for the biggest trading opportunities that we had in a little while. It's going to be a really, 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 really good time to trade. Of course, we have to wait for confirmations. So we have to wait for USDT to come down and do its thing in here, take this point, come up again, take this point again, and then we can be ready. And we're going to have the same expectation here where you want these guys to come down slowly, leaving this liquidity above, take out here, go up higher again, and then we're ready to go. So it's going to be some really interesting times. This is my expectation for all of them. Now, going back to this USDT chart that I was showing you guys, usually the USDT chart looks like this. That's inverted. This is the regular one. So this is the way USDT looks right now. I think we're going to be able to take out this high. Now, we do have to be very careful with this. And the reason why I was explaining this in one of the first streams that we did. It's that we still have all these highs over here in USDT. So if we don't stop in here, we can actually go even higher to make a bigger range, which is going to be more bullish long term. But that's going to mean that we're going to have more pain on the markets before we actually start going up again. Because the higher this goes, the lower the price on crypto go. So now we have to remain patient until we take this high here and we see what happens. Ideally, that happens sooner than later because if we keep chopping in here, this is a range where you're in the middle of the range, right? You're in the middle of this bigger range right around the EQ, and this is the worst place to take trades. This is the really bad place to take trades. You have what you can say you are in no man's land. You're vulnerable for going down, or you could just reverse and go down. So if you short, can go down and you get stopped out, or if you're long, this can go up and you get stopped out. So it's not the best section to take trades. We want to see this taken out, or you want to see this coming down for accumulation for up again. So we just keep remaining patient, guys. As far as that, going to Bitcoin, we have explained this before of the different ranges of how the high time frame distribution was created. We had this redistribution here last month where I told a lot of people that we're going to go absolutely lower. A lot of people didn't listen, got absolutely nuked. And now we're in this situation where we can feel this point here and look for accumulations. But this is the interesting part where we have to be very careful. If we don't get that, we're actually confirming here a monthly break of structure, which is actually something very bearish. If we follow the market structure in this chart, let me actually hide these drawings up here because they are not needed for now. Give me 1 second here, guys. So let's clean this up so it's clear for you guys, right? So kind of if you follow the market structure of Bitcoin from the bear market lows, it's going to look like this. And this is something that is very important to keep an eye on. So if you start from the bear market low in here, November 1st, 2022, your market structure looks like this on the monthly basis, which is your highest market structure. So this is your market structure. And now we're at this point where these are monthly break. And we are 4 days and 10 hours away with this big displacement candle confirming a monthly break of structure, right? Which is something that traditionally is going to give you a rotation towards lower targets. So if we actually have another month that we have a monthly close below this, is actually something that is going to be very longer term. So we just got to be very careful and see what the next move is. Now, based on this price action here, I was looking at this range the other day. There is really not a lot of things to hold the pricing here. If we lose this, we can go way lower, like 40s. And of course, longer term, that's going to give you more opportunities, right? But as of right now, it's not gonna be a nice one. And then if you add this volume profile here, you can see where the biggest volume was transacted. We can actually see now that we're actually bouncing of this value area high. But if we get acceptance below this blue line in here, you're going to have acceptance to this prior range of pricing. And then we're going to follow different levels. We're going to look for different levels around the range to see if we hold the 40s or if we go lower towards the 30s, 20s, which of course, this is way harder to happen. But something that you also have to understand is that in the game of trading, nothing is impossible. Whenever you think something is not possible, it's definitely possible. You have to be open to all the probabilities, and there is never a scenario where something doesn't go lower. In other bear markets, you have seen Bitcoin retrace 90% pretty much. So if you get a 90% retracement, say 85%, you're looking at $16,000. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't think that's going to happen, right? But it's also not unreasonable to think that if you follow the technicals and you're getting a monthly break, you could have a rotation to lower targets. It's very simple, right? And then you have these confluences, like this value are high, where if we lose these, we're going to probably start looking for the POC around here. And if we lose this POC, you're probably going to start looking at these other levels down here. For example, I can just quickly see you have a really nice area here for a bounce. But of course, this is very low. This is $32,000. So we just got to remain patient, guys. We just got to keep looking at things, and we got to keep understanding that nothing is impossible, nothing is guaranteed, and there are different scenarios that can play out. So have said that again, just to clarify, if nobody takes it out of context, I am not saying we're going to $20,000, but I am saying that we are 4 days away to confirming a monthly break of structure. So if we don't get some sort of accumulation here in the near future, we are going to go lower, and we're going to start targeting somewhere in the 50s and then 40s. And depending on the price action and reactions, we can target lower. And that'll give you a really good idea of the thought process. If you guys do happen to have any questions, of course, you guys can always let us know. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. If you guys have any questions on the way I look at the market, I'll be more than happy to answer you guys' questions any point in time. So going back to our TA over here, we're looking to potentially get an accumulation here, which can reverse this higher. And then my expectation would be reverse higher before lower until something changes. So that's kind of where Bitcoin's at for now. Moving to other charts, let's take a look at total market cap. This looks exactly the same. I was showing you the triple chart before. This looks exactly the same, where you have this situation where low in here, there's nothing holding up the price. Hopefully we get something like this. Boom, 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 take out, reverse, back into the range, test higher. So we're going to be watching for something on these. And until we get these proper confirmations, we're just going to have to ultimately be patient and keep waiting for the market to show its hand. No reason why to be buying things without a plan. Better to just wait. Total 2, exactly the same scenario. Total 3, exactly the same scenario. But on total 3, I also mentioned this the other day. If you guys look at total 3, following the same concept of market structure, we're actually flirting with breaking this back to bearish, which can lead to a rotation towards lower. And total 3 is pretty much going to represent altcoins in general. Total 3 is going to be the total market cap without Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this could let us know, give us a warning that potentially if we start to lose these levels, altcoins are going to have a harder time. They're going to go lower. Looking at others, really nothing interesting on the price action on this one. We had a high time frame distribution, really nice top information here. Going to lower time frames, we have the same. We need to go lower, take out this low and see if we can accumulate, or if not, we're going to keep chopping sideways. And you're going to see this effect where certain coins perform well. Like, for example, a few weeks ago, somebody was telling me, hey, by Dogecoin went up like 40%. Yes, that's going to happen, right? You're going to see bounces, but nothing sustains, everything reverses. Something else that we can monitor on others, I don't really like using these liquidation candles as range starting points, but if you put these as a range starting point, something like this could be a range to accumulate. But again, I don't like to use these liquidation candles as accumulation points. I prefer to use this as a market structure continuation, and hopefully we get some sort of accumulation from here that looks better. But we can also monitor for something like this where this is the range for others, and you have your range low here, you have your deviation of your range, and then we're looking to confirm a potential third tap. We have to look at, okay, what is extreme demand and what is extreme liquidity point. So if we go, for example, on the 3 hour, our extreme liquidity point will be probably here. And if you go on a lower time frame, your extreme liquidity point is going to be this low in here. So we're going to just keep an eye and see what happens when price comes down here. Extreme liquidity point. We see if there's a reaction here, we put an alert in here. And then as far as demand, there is no clear demand point. So at this point, if we take out these, my expectation will be to take out these over here and see what happens from there. So again, we got to remain patient with these. If it's this range that is ugly, or waiting for a different range in here, we just got to remain patient and see exactly what happens, but just wait for confirmations. So crypto guys, there is really no point at charting 50 altcoins until something happens with Bitcoin, until we take out this low, until USDT take out these highs. There is no point on going through Solana, Hype, Dogecoin, all these other altcoins until this gets resolved. Once this is closer to the high, then we're going to be in a context that is more pro for looking at longs. And then, of course, at that point in time, we can start charting all these altcoins again. Now, something that is interesting to look at too is gold. I took a really nice short on gold the other day. We shorted around here. I took some profits, didn't take a lot of profits. I was trying to get it for lower. And now you're getting these. I was looking at shorts here again. Let's kind of clean this up. Now you have this range where it's kind of foggy now. You can see it on different ways. I was trying to see a range starting here. This looks like a PO3 with this aggressive expansion and aggressive breakdown back inside the range, but nothing really to be traded here. We did take this liquidity point here perfectly, and this is why we marked those on the chart, and you can see how perfect that is. Price searches for the liquidity and reverses lower. We also have this extreme supply in here, and you also have some more supply in here. I'm gonna take that out for now. Let me delete this. Now, this range doesn't look that clean right now, but that doesn't mean that we cannot find a trade. So a couple of things we can do. We can look here and we can see where is the supply in this range. Let's see there's any clean supply points that we can use. This here is all liquidity. So this is not as clean. For me personally, here, price comes here, I would like to short, depending on confirmations. So now put an alert in here to see if we get something in there. And if we don't get it, we don't get it, right? That's the thing with trading. You got to be patient. And as I was telling you, when you have a good opportunity, you maximize. If you have some ranges that are not pretty, not really a point of risking your money, right? Now you're in the middle of nowhere because you have liquidity here and all this liquidity here. So if you're shorting here, you're vulnerable for price going up and stopping you, or you can just nuke. So you just got to keep patient and wait. Nothing interesting there. Going into silver. Mr. Silver. I was looking for longs in here. You guys probably remember I took a long in here. You guys can see that played out really nice. I'll take that off the chart now. We don't need that anymore. Kind of following the market structure. We're looking at something like this, kind of skipping some points. Lower high. Lower low. So this is kind of your high time frame market structure here. We just need to be a little patient here. Using internal market structure here. No, nothing really that pretty here to trade, to be honest, guys. I'm just going to remain more patient. You have something more local in here. But these wicks and reversals. So not that interested on anything here for now. And something to keep an eye on is oil. And I was actually telling a lot of my family members last year, November, that oil, I had the expectation of oil going higher. And it's beautiful to see how this played out. So I was watching this as a range in here in the higher time frame. I was kind of watching this as a range. And you can see how beautiful this took the extreme liquidity here in December. And since then, now you see all these things with, oh, Trump arrested the president of Venezuela. Iran is on threats of war with the US. And now oil has increased like 20%, right? So a lot of people think that news drives the markets. I think it's the opposite. Markets drive the news. So we were looking at this last year, and we're looking at some geopolitical events that could increase the price of oil. And we can see that in 2 months, the price of oil has gone up 20%. And if it doesn't stop in here, it's just going to continue to grind up higher because you have all these highs in here that are liquidity points that are going to be taken out really easily all the way over here too. So we can be looking at oil at $80 to $100 a barrel very soon if this doesn't reverse. And if it reverses, we're going to be looking at this green box in here to see if we can catch some massive longs on oil, buy some options and stuff like that on oil too. So guys, that is pretty much it for now. Nothing else that I want to share. If you guys do have any questions, let me know. I've been a little quiet because as you guys can see here, this is just chop in the middle of nowhere. And there is absolutely no reason to be trading chop. You want to wait until you see a clear defined range like we saw in here. That is a clear defined range that gave us confidences for higher. Or you have a range here for a distribution that you could see. Or we had a redistribution here again. So at this point in time, we just gotta remain patient. As always, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the chat. Enjoy your day, guys.